Dawn. But the public back home remains full of apprehension and distrust. Pundits are blasting their lack of midfield mobility and accusing the team of lacking a cohesive unit. Yet they cruised past 83-0 last Saturday, highlighted by a brace from Matheus Cunha and the individual brilliance of Vinícius Júnior. But the demands on the Seleção are absolute. They always are. And they need to top Group C to secure a favourable path, knowing that a slip-up against Scotland could see them face a brutal knockout tie against the likes of Netherlands or Japan. And as the pre-match festivities give way to a clear pitch, we can bring you the official team sheets and the tactical adjustments from both managers that are going to dominate the pre-match debates. Let's look at how they line up. Many in this ground will have been caught completely by surprise by a Scotland team selection that looks incredibly bold on paper. Steve Clarke has ripped up the conservative script, ditching his defensive shell for a more ambitious 4-2-3-1 formation. Angus Gunn retains his spot between the posts. The back four sees Nathan Patterson and captain Andy Robertson occupying the fullback positions, while Scott McKenna earns a major recall to partner Jack Hendry in the heart of defence. In the engine room, Kenny McLean comes straight into the starting lineup to form a central midfield pairing alongside Lewis Ferguson. Ahead of them, the creative trio features John McGinn and star player Scott McTominay operating in advanced positions, flanking the returning rising star Ben Gannon-Doak, who is handed a massive starting role out wide after recovering from fitness issues. The entire system spearheaded by the clinical penalty area threat of striker Lawrence Shankland, who gets the nod to lead the line. It's a sweeping statement of intent from Clarke, with Grant Hanley, Kieran Tierney, Ryan Christie and Shay Adams all dropping out of the starting 11 to make way for a much faster, more direct counter-attacking threat. For the South American Giants, Carlo Ancelotti fields a balanced 4-3-3 shape. It's fluid, but the headline news from the tunnel is the sheet confirmation. There is no Neymar in the Brazilian starting 11 tonight. Alisson starts in goal. The defensive line consists of Danilo Marquinhos Gabriel and Douglas Santos at left back. Bruno Guimaraes and Casemiro are in the engine room. Lucas Paquetá and Matheus Cunha either side of Bournemouth's Ryan. Vinícius Júnior leading the line. Despite Ancelotti declaring him available for his calf strain, all-time top scorer Neymar is deemed unready for the physical intensity of the opening whistle, and if he plays a part, it will be from the bench. As they get underway in Miami, it's a sea of yellow and a smattering of navy across this magnificent stadium in Miami. It's conditions that will be more familiar to those in the yellow shirts, white shorts and white socks of Brazil. Those in those navy kits won't be quite accustomed to the 32 degrees and high humidity we have here, but they'll put everything they can into tonight's game. They are 90 minutes away from immortality. The knockout stages for the first time. The arithmetic is very difficult. Scotland will be hoping to sneak in either as runners-up in this group, if Haiti do them a favour against Morocco, or as one of the best third-place finishers coming into tonight, second in that table, currently sitting behind Sweden. But they have to wait, an agonising wait, for the rest of the final round of fixtures in the remainder of the groups to be concluded. We won't find out until the weekend whether Scotland have made it through. There's John McGinn in the centre circle. Early ball forward. Looking for Ben Gannon-Doak. Full of pace, full of running, but it's away from the edge of the penalty area by Marquinhos. It's Jack Hendry. Lewis Ferguson, Robertson, early ball in. It's away again by Marquinhos. Ferguson. A bit clattered there, was he? Referee not blowing the whistle. Kenny McLean. He's going to blow the whistle eventually because Lewis Ferguson is down. Clutching his head. It was a powerful challenge there. From Ryan. First teenager to start a World Cup match for Brazil since 1970. Patterson forward, Shankler's header is backwards. No second runners to pick up the ball for Scotland. Instead it's forward by Bruno Guimaraes. And there's Ryan again, picking the ball up in a central position. Bit of space in the centre circle for Lucas Paquetá. Now Douglas Santos down the outside for Vinícius Júnior, starting in a wide berth. Paquetá tried the back heel. Too many navy blue shirts around him. And here's Scott McTominay to try and tidy things up. A lovely little turn by Jack Hendry. How cool was that from Jack Hendry? Under pressure from Vinícius Júnior. Ball down the left-hand side. Looks like Gannon-Doak will play an advanced role down the right flank. Here comes Hendry. Over the halfway line for McTominay. Now Nathan Patterson of Everton. Kenny McLean is dropping into the back four at the moment. Scott McKenna forward. Andy Robertson, the captain, on the left-hand side. A rousing speech could be heard from the dressing room down in the tunnel by all reports. Patterson. Forward by McTominay. Shankland lays it off. Space in the centre circle for Lewis Ferguson. Very much the conductor in the heart of that Scottish midfield. Back to him by Robertson. McLean can't turn it past. And Casemiro. And McKenna. And we're back to Angus Gunn. Sped out to the left-hand side. Robertson's cushion backwards. He's going to be picked off. Brazil are onto it. Early ball in from Matheus Cunha. Now Bruno Guimaraes, excuse me, and Gunn will gobble it up on his 6-yard line. Quickly out though to Scott McTominay. Looking for McTominay early here was Kenny McLean. Picked up on the right-hand side, laid off by Matheus Cunha, back to Danilo. Marquinhos to Gabriel. Hoping to exercise some demons of his own, that penalty miss in the Champions League final. Marquinhos. Gabriel. Douglas Santos. Nothing's changed over the course of a few weeks. You remember in that Champions League final, the two centre-backs for Brazil this evening on different ends of that spectrum of joy and despair. Gabriel, who missed the crucial penalty. And when he did, Marquinhos' first thought, even as the man tasked with lifting the trophy for Paris Saint-Germain, was to go across to his mate. Gabriel put his arm around his shoulder before going and celebrating PSG's second consecutive Champions League. That's the unity, the spirit that can be found in this Brazil side when they do gel. Vinícius, Casemiro, that's charged down. Bounces here to Scott McTominay. Gannon Doak. Hendry. McKenna. Patterson. Hendry back to Angus Gunn. Was given away. Vinícius Júnior tucks it home. It's a horrible error. The five-time winners lead. A nightmare for Scotland. Scott McKenna in a real model. Vinícius Júnior wrong-footed gun, and it was a tap-in in the end. He missed the first two, Scott McKenna. He's back in the starting lineup. Started with Gunn, back to McKenna. Tries to play it centrally. It's Ryan closing down. Got something on it. And there's Vinícius Júnior. Reacts quickest. Gunn was expecting the first time finish. Vinícius Júnior took a touch and couldn't quite believe his luck. But the entirety of the goal was at his mercy. It's Scotland 0, Brazil 1 after 8 minutes. Even Carlo Ancelotti, who's seen it all, he's almost done it all, barring this trophy, was a bit surprised to see how easy that was for Brazil. They don't need gifts, they have such talents. A third goal at the championships for Vinícius Júnior. On from Gunn, looking for Shanklin, beaten to it by Gabriel. As McLean picking up the second ball in midfield. Patterson will collect. And Ferguson for McKenna. Robertson. Hendry to Ferguson. Down the right for McLean. Will tuck it down the touchline. Ben Gannon Doak will sprint after it. Gabriel forces him out of play and wins the throw-in, and in the process bellows at the mostly Brazilian crowd and pumps them up a little. It's a familiar story, not quite as quick as the goal that Morocco scored after 71 seconds, but within 10 minutes Brazil have the lead. But Scotland trying to respond here. Andy Robertson. What was notable against Morocco was the response from Scotland. They got four, they almost created chances. On another evening they would have had a penalty or maybe two. Hendry towards the back post, and McTominay was there, but so was Danilo. Now with Ryan, and now there's space in the middle of the park. It's Matheus Cunha driving forward. Looks at Bruno Guimaraes, edge of the penalty area. Guimaraes, couple of deflections. McKenna was in the way. Now McTominay just sees it pop out to Robertson. Forward towards Shankland. Bounces off Marquinhos. And Paquetá. Inside the Scotland half, out on the edge of the centre circle. Vinícius Júnior. Down the right-hand side for Ryan. Infield to Cunha. Cunha with a chance to shoot. It's over the bar. Well, there's also been a goal in Atlanta in the other game. Morocco taking on Haiti, and it's gone against the run of play. What you'd expect, the Haitians have taken the lead. Delightful little finish from Joseph. Haiti cannot qualify for the round of 32, but they could be kingmakers. Ball in behind. Doak chasing. Gabriel just got across in the nick of time because he was almost through there, Ben Doak. He's led away by Douglas Santos. There's Paquetá to find Cunha. Shankland chasing shadows. Back from Casemiro. Marquinhos. There's Cunha in the centre circle. Just Casemiro to Gabriel. Marquinhos. A target down the right-hand side. It's Danilo getting forward. They couldn't quite keep it in play. Getting under control. As a reminder, only 8 of the 12 third-place teams will progress to the round of 32. There are 4 nations in third in their groups to win on the board. Scotland are one of them. It's more than feasible the likes of Democratic Republic of Congo, Bosnia and Herzegovina with an impressive win earlier this afternoon against Qatar. They've done the same. They're on 4 points as well. Goal difference incredibly likely to come into play. They could probably survive on -1 or -2 up to the statistics. Giants have suggested there's a 71% chance that Scotland will make it through to the knockout stages if they can keep it to just 1 or 2 defensively. They'll be looking to try and have a positive result here in Miami. Gabriel. Casemiro. Out to Danilo on the right-hand side. Dan Marino for Dolphins. We hail from this very stadium. Away by Gunn from the goal kick. Seen a lot of the ball early on here, Scotland. Patterson. Doak. Patterson. It's Hendry. Looping ball, nodded back to Alisson. Gabriel, it's youth Premier League representation out there tonight for Brazil. Likes of Casemiro, who's just called time on his Manchester United career. Alisson, of course, at Liverpool. Gabriel, Premier League winner with Arsenal. Ryan at Burnley. Matheus Cunha at Manchester United. There's Marquinhos. Danilo. Guimaraes. Casemiro. Gabriel. Douglas Santos. Back atop. Douglas Santos back to Gabriel, just inside his own half. Look at the base of the Brazil formation, Marquinhos up to the right hand side for Matheus Cunha. Marquinhos. Gabriel. Gabriel. Lucas Paquetá. Between the lines, Cunha moves away from McLean. Time on the right hand side for Danilo. Gets his cross away, deflects it off the head of Kenny McLean. Almost fell to Vinícius Júnior. Douglas Santos, now Vinícius Júnior caught in the penalty area. Teasing Patterson, who reacts well at the expense of a corner. Guimaraes to take the set piece. It's a familiar sight. Gabriel close to the goalkeeper. What a warning from Cesar Ramos, the Mexican referee. Guimaraes to the heart of the 6-yard box. Good delivery. Cunha got up, but Scotland got it away. Paquetá keeps it alive, hoisted back in. Gabriel beaten to it. Kenny McLean, maybe a chance to break away. Drops to Ben Gannon Doak, decided to lay it off rather than take it forward. Now McGinn back forward to Gannon Doak down the left-hand side. Paquetá snapping at his heels. He's done really well to find McTominay on halfway. Wants to try and surge forward. Matheus Cunha all over him. McGinn can't beat Ryan to it. Here's Vinícius Júnior on the right-hand side. Vinícius Júnior into the penalty area, uses the outside of his right boot. And Angus Gunn knew that was always sailing wide. Ryan is down. Seems to be feeling it's something sore somewhere, very sensitive. Patterson. Into to Ferguson. Patterson forward, pass was overhit in the direction of Lawrence Shankland. Scotland seem to have pushed Scott McTominay alongside him, seemed very isolated in the opening 20 minutes, has Lawrence Shankland. Here's Paquetá. To Marquinhos at the base of the centre circle. And Gabriel, 15 yards to his left. Paquetá, the former West Ham United attacker. Lucas Paquetá. Marquinhos. Gabriel crosses halfway. Vinícius Júnior. Central position, squeezes it wide. Here's Ryan. Edge of the penalty area, Ryan. Turned away by Hendry from a couple of feet forward from the penalty spot. Out of play on the far side for a Brazilian throw-in. Taking the ball over quickly now, Brazil. Found their stride after seeing Scotland with the lion's share of possession in the opening 10 minutes. Vinícius Júnior allowed to turn between the lines. He's done well there, Lewis Ferguson, just to marshal the Real Madrid attacker. Hendry. Turn for home, Vinícius Júnior picks his pocket and it's through the legs of Gunn. It's another defensive error from Scotland that opens the door for Vinny Júnior. It's Jack Hendry. Who presents Brazil with yet another chance which they need. No second invitation in taking. A penny for Steve Clarke's thoughts. Jack Hendry was just sluggish. Tried to turn for home. He tries to bring down Vinícius Júnior as well. Unsuccessful there. He's probably lucky. There's no way to play against the Brazil side, packed full of attacking talent. That margin for error, that safety net, has evaporated in 22 Miami minutes. But there may be a respite for Scotland. They are checking this for a foul on Jack Hendry. I think Vinícius Júnior may well have just fouled Jack Hendry. It's a good spot by Guillermo Pacheco. He's drawn the referee's attention to it. He's watching the replay on the pitch side monitor. He's made his decision. And Cesar Ramos announces that the goal will not stand. I think they're quite fortunate there, Scotland. It does seem like Jack Hendry's kicked the back of Vinícius Júnior's leg more than anything. Just stepped across Vinícius Júnior's path, found some contact there. Hendry didn't go to ground. He clearly didn't feel there was a foul. Vinícius Júnior certainly didn't. What foul was there, says Vinny Júnior to the referee. A hydration break and a chance maybe to reset their thoughts. Scotland scrambled. That's a huge relief for Steve Clarke, as both sets of players wander over to the technical areas to take on some fluids. And in a World Cup where these international tournament where these hydration breaks have been criticised, well, the conditions in Miami certainly fitting for an opportunity to come across and have some water after 25 minutes. Little shake of the head from Vinícius Júnior. You wonder what the discussion is down there in front of the Scotland bench. That was probably that. You'd have thought for Scotland's hopes this evening. Their hopes of qualifying for the round of 32 probably would have been maintained had that goal stood. But with 70 minutes to play, you wonder just how long they would have held out for, how long they can still hold out for here. Noticeable how few complaints there were from the Scotland players. But as yet, Brazil haven't really tested Angus Gunn off their own volition. And he's still debating the referee's decision here, Vinícius Júnior. As the hydration break comes to an end, wanders across and has a little word. And you can understand why he feels a bit aggrieved here, having seen the replay a couple of times. Walking back out there to resume. I wonder if the momentum will shift here. And we start with a throw-in. Scotland captain Andy Robertson trotting across to the far side to take it. Will leave Liverpool in the summer. Finds John McGinn. Robertson shrugged off Ryan. He's won a corner. He'll be a Tottenham player next season, Andy Robertson. First corner of the game for Scotland. Lewis Ferguson whips it in right-footed towards the near post. It is flicked on. Taken away from McTominay though. Finds John McGinn on the right-hand side now. Deep towards the back post. It's a good ball. They haven't made the most of it though. 3 or 4 Scotland players converging on it. That looks like half a chance for Scotland. Brilliant ball from John McGinn. The left-footed in-swinger from the right-hand side. It's Scott McTominay at the back post. There's McLean in the centre circle. Andy Robertson, Kenny McLean opens his body up, receives, finds Ferguson, central position inside the Brazil half, down the right-hand side for Nathan Patterson. Ferguson. McKenna. Back to Gunn. Looking for Robertson. Danilo with the header. And by Robertson. McKenna across to his central defensive colleague, Jack Hendry. Patterson. Hendry. To the 18-yard box. To Gunn. Hendry. Patterson. Hendry. Down the line for Gallen-Doak, lays it off to Scott McTominay, holds off Lucas Paquetá, tries to drive his way through a couple of bodies, helped on its way by McLean. Here's John McGinn on the outside, now Andy Robertson with the cut back, has to settle for a corner. A high five to Danilo as a half-hearted appeal from Andy Robertson for a penalty, a right smile between the pair. McGinn thought about taking it on from range. He can hit him from that kind of position, John McGinn. It was well placed, just outside the penalty area. Ferguson, again to deliver from the set piece. The right-footed in-swinger towards the near post. Flicked on by a Brazil head. Will drop to John McGinn again on this near side. Guimaraes will come to meet the Villa man. McGinn squeezes it in field into the penalty area. Patterson tried to juggle it through. Paquetá getting back. Looks for a free kick there. He's not going to get one. Well, that's lovely skill to escape Nathan Patterson, but gives it away. Ferguson lights it up from range and it's blocked behind by Danilo. It's another corner. Brilliant piece of skill from Lucas Paquetá. A little drag back and through the legs of Nathan Patterson. It was straight to Lewis Ferguson, who wasn't shy on taking it on. I think it was heading wide, but Danilo wasn't to know that. Ferguson across to take the set piece. They've been good so far. All of them have hit the first man though. Ferguson, decent delivery. Away by Marquinhos. Ref spots something in there, blows the whistle, and Brazil have the free kick. Guimaraes was holding Jack Hendry. Hendry tries to escape his clutches and just shoves out at Bruno Guimaraes. That's what the referee spotted. Probably could have gone the other way, you know. Here's McLean, much better from Scotland since the hydration break. Ferguson, Patterson, Gallen-Doak, right-hand side. This is good from Gallen-Doak. Low cross. Little back heel away by Casemiro. Making life difficult for Douglas Santos. It's a Brazil ball, but good tenacity from young Ben Gallen-Doak. Into Vinícius Júnior, Ferguson. Breathing down his neck. That'll be a foul. Marquinhos. Marquinhos. Gabriel. Marquinhos. Danilo. To the middle for Guimaraes. Squeezes it forward to Ryan. Trying to take on the entire Scotland back line himself. That's a goal kick. Ryan can't believe it. Taken short by Gunn. Here's Patterson. He wants the one down the outside by Gallen-Doak. He'll take over here. Ran into Douglas Santos, excuse me. McLean from range. Casemiro flung himself at it. There's Guimaraes battling with Ferguson. Casemiro. Tries to just ping it out to the right-hand side. Dan Lowe got forward, but it was too far behind the fullback. In by Robertson to McGinn. McTominay. Spotted the runner, Shankland. Marquinhos read it though. It's Guimaraes. Costa, Santos. Vinícius Júnior, Paquetá. Guimaraes back to Marquinhos on the centre spot. And Lucas Paquetá down the outside. Douglas Santos. Angle of the penalty area is Vinícius Júnior. Guimaraes, Paquetá. Gabriel. Marquinhos. Gabriel. Lucas Paquetá. Vinícius Júnior turns on the corner of the penalty area. Scotland surround him. It's tiny defending from Nathan Patterson. Scotland need to try and play themselves out. Ben Gannon-Doak. Hendry has to be careful. He's already had a warning and a reprieve, and Angus Gunn will move it on. Here is Andy Robertson into the middle of the park. Scott McTominay. One back by Ryan. Invited the challenge to McTominay. Guimaraes. Ran into Ferguson. Ryan, edge of the box, and again that one's wide of Angus Gunn's goal. He's never heading on target. Robertson settled to the throw into McKenna. Back to Scotland's earlier Scotland captain. Now Scott McKenna again. Launches a high diagonal out to Ben Gannon-Doak. Good first touch in front of Douglas Santos, but he was just tight enough to Gannon-Doak to win it back. Scotland won it back themselves. Here's Ferguson. Laid off by Shankland. McLean. Here's Robertson, left-hand side. Met by Ryan. McLean, high ball. He's overhit the cross. And a bounce along the byline and eventually roll out of play for a goal kick. Gabriel. Casemiro. Made off to Alisson. Now Marquinhos. You can see the criticism that has been levelled at Brazil. There's Ryan. Back to Marquinhos, just inside the Brazil half, forward. Finds Lucas Paquetá floating around in half pockets of space in the central position. Casemiro now. Danilo. Marquinhos. Paquetá. Searching ball into the Scotland penalty area. Smart from Andy Robertson. Just kicked up in front of him, but can still nod his header back to Angus Gunn. Here's Ferguson at the base of midfield for Scotland. Towards the right-hand side for Ben Gannon-Doak. Slows the ball down, eventually lays it off to Nathan Patterson. Patterson. Well, it was fouled by Lucas Paquetá. Another goal in Atlanta, and it's an equaliser for Morocco. Achraf Hakimi. Bundling home, the rebound. One apiece. Another game in this group. Guimaraes. Right of centre. 10 yards inside Scotland's half. Now with Marquinhos back in that centre circle. Douglas Santos. Casemiro. Space for Cunha. Tries to curl one. Gunn was worried for a moment. Went scampering across to his left, Angus Gunn. He just realised his last minute that's going wide. McKenna. Paquetá. Well watched by Hendry with Vinícius Júnior looking to run onto it over his shoulder. Patterson for Ferguson. Gannon Doak got there before Douglas Santos, but the Brazil left back gets it back. Santos on the left-hand side. Vinícius Júnior goes to ground. Being waved back to his feet by the referee. Wants a free kick. So well with Ben Gannon Doak as well. Combustible figure is Vinícius Júnior. Paquetá. Title winner in Russia with Zenit Petersburg, Douglas Santos. Switching his international footballing allegiance to Russia in March of last year. They stopped the naturalisation at the final moment after being given a surprise lifeline on Brazil's provisional qualifying list. Would you believe it, Haiti have restored their lead. And what a goal it is from a long way out. Fabulous strike from Isidore. Wilson Isidore with an absolute rocket into the top corner has made it Morocco 1, Haiti 2. Casemiro towards the edge of the Scotland box. It's intended for Guimaraes. Here's Ryan. Vinícius Júnior chases it. There's the touchback. It's cleared off the line. It's Nathan Patterson to deny Matheus Cunha. Vinícius Júnior just ticks the tempo a little bit higher. Links up with Ryan on the right-hand side. They bypass Robertson. Cunha stretched, got there in front of Jack Hendry. The combination of Ferguson and Patterson are there on the line to make sure it doesn't beat Angus Gunn. Guimaraes takes the corner, pulls it back into midfield. Paquetá with the outside of his left boot. Gunn will claim. Bowled out to Robertson. There's McTominay. Ferguson. That's Lewis Ferguson. Kenny McLean. McKenna. Ferguson. Andy Robertson. Gunn. Here's Jack Hendry. Nathan Patterson. John McGinn. Ferguson. McKenna keeping the ball well here, Scotland, but not doing too much with it. Maybe they will now with Robertson in an advanced position. Steps inside. McLean. Here's John McGinn. Show too much to Casemiro. Ferguson pings it in towards Shankland. Shankland wide. Bit of space on the left-hand side. Gannon Doak onto his right. Tried to take it on. Might emerge for him. Challenge from Marquinhos by Casemiro. Ball was won though. No appeals from the Scotland players. We moved into 6 minutes of added time at the end of this first half. Shankland again on the edge of the penalty area. Bounces up off Casemiro. Half-hearted appeals for a handball. Almost got a huge slice of luck there, Ben Gannon-Doak. Well, what a game in Atlanta. Morocco have equalised again. It's Vinícius Júnior. He's fouled by Nathan Patterson. Couple of grabs of the sleeve in front of the referee from the Everton fullback. Guimaraes. Casemiro. Paquetá. Casemiro. Gabriel. Casemiro. Marquinhos. Ryan linked up with Guimaraes, gave it back to him. There's Guimaraes again, towards the back post, Vinícius Júnior! Knocks that one home. And this time it surely will stand. Angus Gunn's just got caught under the flight of it. He's beaten Nathan Patterson in the air as well. Steve Clarke can just watch on and scratch his beard. Scotland couldn't clear their lines. Patterson dropped with Vinícius Júnior. If he steps out, Vinícius Júnior's offside. Angus Gunn has tried to come to meet it, realised he's misjudged the flight, rather flaps at it. And again, it's a free goal for Vinícius Júnior. He's had the ball in the back of the net 3 times tonight now, just the 2 have stood. And they have to be careful. McGinn felled on his way forward. Challenge from Danilo. Well, they've been architects of their own downfall, Scotland. Going to be a Robertson delivery to the final minute of added time. Robertson. Looks to Ferguson, edge of the box. Gannon-Doak took it on. Ricochets away off a Brazilian ankle. Poked forward towards Vinícius Júnior. Forward by Patterson, juggled by Guimaraes. Backheel from Vinícius, Paquetá forward. Brilliant from Ryan! And Gunn prevents the third. Spread himself brilliantly there, Angus Gunn. Sensational first touch to Ryan. Takes Robertson out of the game. Tries to go low. Ryan, top-class goalkeeping from the man at Nottingham Forest. Paquetá with a delivery, high, swinging ball towards the back post. Drops on the edge of the penalty area, lashed in there by Douglas Santos. Goes over the byline. Will they have time for one more corner? No, they won't. Cesar Ramos blows the whistle for half-time. The players head towards the corner where the tunnel is situated. It's been the tale of Vinícius Júnior. Capitalised on an awful mistake by Scott McKenna initially. Felt he'd done the same again from Jack Hendry. That one was scrubbed out on a VAR review. Maybe some questions to be asked about Angus Gunn's positioning for the one that eventually would count, and they added time at the end of the first half. Scotland in... Leaving themselves very little margin for error when it comes to the 8-team tournament. It's been a big half-time, maybe the final half-time of this tournament for Steve Clarke and his side, and they're going to make a change at the break. Kieran Tierney is stripped off and ready to come on. Just waiting for the fourth official to show the number. It's Andy Robertson who's going to go off. And on comes Tierney. They'll swap halves. Scotland now attacking the end where the majority of their support is located. If you are just joining us for the second half, Vinícius Júnior had the ball in the back of the net 3 times. The first, capitalising on a horrible mistake from Scotland defender Scott McKenna. The second was a similar position, Jack Hendry. Look, to be dispossessed by Vinícius Júnior, only for that goal to be struck off on a VAR review. But just in the closing stages of that first half in added time, Vinícius Júnior rose to nod home. A cross from Bruno Guimaraes. This gun sucked underneath the flight of the ball. Leaves us here where we are at the start of this second half. Scotland 0, Brazil 2. As it's pumped downfield by Angus Gunn, looking for Shankland, nodded down. Here's John McGinn of Aston Villa. Here's Tierney. McGinn. Now wearing the captain's armband, the Aston Villa man. Lifted the Europa League trophy with Aston Villa in this last month. Lewis Ferguson tries to move it quicker. Gives it away. That'll be a throw-in on the left-hand side for Brazil. Running through their lineup, it's Alisson in goal, the back four of Douglas Santos at left-back, Gabriel Marquinhos, the 2 centre-halves, and Danilo on the right-hand side. Casemiro partners Bruno Guimaraes, 2 assists this evening for the Newcastle United midfielder in the heart of midfield. Cunha, Paquetá and Ryan supporting Vinícius Júnior, but it's a very fluid front four for Brazil, as it so often is. For Scotland, it's now Angus Gunn in goal with Tierney at left-back, Patterson at right-back, Hendry and McKenna the 2 centre-backs, Ferguson, McLean, Gannon, Doak, Tomine in there as well, John McGinn as well, Lawrence Shankland, the target man, the man leading the line, the furthest forward at least. Scotland thrown out on the far side. Patterson gets it in quickly to Scott McTominay. He's bounced up in front of the Napoli midfielder, but he's made the most of it. And there's Ferguson. Patterson, Ferguson, McTominay, Ferguson again. Shankland lays it off. Ben Gannon Doak finds a little bit of space around the Brazilian defenders. There are 4 of them to try and beat, though, and they close the door on him. Back to Alisson. Shankland trying to close down Douglas Santos, and clearance was off balance from Gabriel, will be a throw-in, quickly taken by Patterson. Hendry to Scott McKenna. Down the left for Tierney. Hendry. Lewis Ferguson. Ben Gannon Doak. Inside to Ferguson, just on the edge of the penalty area. Kenny McLean will lay that off. Jack Hendry for Scott McKenna. Hendry. Back to Gunn. Towards McTominay, can't take it down, Gabriel will clear it. Ferguson will take that towering ball down on his chest on the halfway line. Now Kenny McLean just outside the centre circle. Lewis Ferguson, McTominay. And then Doak, Ferguson, Hendry, McKenna, Tierney, McGinn, Tierney in the crossing position. Decent cross, there's the header. An effort on target from Scott McTominay. Alisson forced to work for the first time. It was straight at him, but he held on to it. That's what Kieran Tierney's been brought on to do. Move the ball much quicker there. Either side of Alisson, and Scotland might well have reduced the deficit. There was the spare man in there, Scott McTominay. Good movement from Lawrence Shankland to take Gabriel away. He's just been put off enough there by Douglas Santos. Heads in hands in the Scotland fan areas. Gabriel. Santos. Gabriel across to Marquinhos. Marquinhos for Gabriel. Marquinhos looks for a ball over the top for Vinícius Júnior. It's good from Hendry. Now Tierney forward, McGinn spins on it on halfway. Has to go back again to Ferguson. McLean, Shankland in the centre circle. Hendry, McTominay, Patterson. Looks for the early ball into Shankland. It's not a terrible delivery from Nathan Patterson. Pops up the other side for Danilo. It's Cunha being forced backwards. Marquinhos puts his foot through it. Header one on halfway. Scott McKenna towering over Ryan. They can't keep it, Scotland. And here's Lucas Paquetá, runners in front of them. One of them, Vinícius Júnior, peeling off of Jack Hendry. Vinícius Júnior can't beat Angus Gunn, saves with his leg, and then holds on to it as it loops up. That's one pass through the middle. It's absolutely exposed the Scotland back line. McGinn. Tierney. Ferguson in midfield. Tierney. Sort of shift out to Ben Gannon Doak. It's off Douglas Santos's head. McTominay lent it to McLean. Now it's with Scott McKenna on halfway in the centre circle. Hendry. McTominay. Patterson, Shankland, they'll be back heel. Patterson goes to ground in the penalty area. Shouts for a penalty waved away by the referee. Shades of Morocco last time out for Scotland. It didn't look like a penalty on first viewing. We'll have a look at the replay when we get a chance, but it seems like he was crowded out there, Nathan Patterson. Marquinhos, Gabriel. They've had a look and they've confirmed the referee's decision not to give that. Just didn't feel like a penalty in real time. There's Danilo. Bruno Guimaraes. Ryan. Danilo. Marquinhos. Paquetá. Douglas Santos, left-hand side. Vinícius Júnior. It's back from Casemiro to Marquinhos, and now Danilo again. Everyone in blue behind the ball. Vinícius Júnior. From a long way out, straight at gun. Just pat it down. Bowled out to Hendry. Patterson for Ferguson. Here's Hendry again. Square to McKenna to his left. Now Kieran Tierney. Ferguson. Patterson. Ferguson. Trying to inch their way forward here, Scotland. McTominay. Here's Lewis Ferguson. Scott McKenna. Kenny McLean finds McGinn. To the left for Tierney. Ferguson to Hendry. There's Patterson. Shankland tries to turn it around the corner. That one looked more like a penalty. Ferguson bundled to ground by Gabriel. That is a poor challenge by Nathan Patterson. It was Kenny McLean bursting forward. It's clumsy from Gabriel. There's certainly contact. I think Kenny McLean just needs to try and get his shot away there. Marquinhos to Danilo. Ryan. They will give and go with Guimarães. Tierney there first. Throw in for Brazil. And by Danilo. Marquinhos. Paqueta. Vinícius Júnior. Guimarães lets it run. Angus gone. Pass on that as Vinícius Júnior tried to chase after his own pass. And sharp in moments gone. Ferguson. And Gallon Doak. Qatar steps across his path, and that will be a foul on the Brazilian. Marquinhos. Gabriel. Alisson to the retreating Guimarães. The link into midfield. Cunha lays it off. There is Danilo. Ryan off the right hand side. Back to Danilo. To Casemiro. Qatar. Guimarães down the outside, goes Danilo. He's not going to catch up with the ball. He's the pass master extraordinaire, Bruno Guimarães, the Newcastle United midfielder. Guimarães over the top. Ryan tucks it back. Here's Cunha. Off McKenna's chest, drops to Paquetá, sorts his feet out. The right-footed effort is wide of the target. Angus Gunn knew where that was going. One from Gunn. Shankland tries to take it down. Casemiro goes to ground. No foul, says Ramos. We run out for the challenge on Lucas Paquetá. There's Gabriel. Danilo. Attempted ball in behind. Guimaraes is strong. Guimaraes sorts his feet out. Tries to lay it off for Cunha. It's a third for Brazil. Matheus Cunha. Finishes off a wonderful move from Brazil. And it's that man again. Brilliant play from Bruno Guimaraes. Scotland are hoping for the foul on Scott McKenna. It's beautiful composure from Bruno Guimaraes to hold the ball up, draw the defenders across and have the presence of mind to just slide it to his right where Matheus Cunha is arriving. Angus Gunn's attention taken by Guimaraes, which opens up the angle for Cunha. Scotland on the brink of an exit of the tournament. Tierney, little give and go. Tierney low into the penalty area. That's the ill-judged challenge from Danilo. Will be a free kick. The yellow is out for Danilo. It's right on the line. Really good understanding between Kieran Tierney and John McGinn. Well, I'm not so sure. That might be a penalty, you know. Could just be outside the box. It's such an ill-advised challenge for Danilo, especially with Brazil in such a strong position. Ferguson with the free kick, pushed away by Alisson. Tips it round for the corner, always against Lewis Ferguson was the angle, but he tried to... A little deflection on the way through, which makes it slightly more difficult for Alisson. John McGinn to deliver. Right towards the back post, Ferguson was arriving, will drop here to Tierney, little drop of the shoulder, gets it towards the back post, there's McTominay! Another save from Alisson, this one down low to his right. Given away midfield, Vinícius Júnior's a mile offside. It's Patterson. McTominay, right-hand side. Looks for Gannon Doak, can he get there? Oh, he can't. Casemiro closes the door. Brazil preparing for a double change. Arsenal's Gabriel Martinelli is going to replace Lucas Paquetá. Casemiro's also coming off. And it's the evergreen Fabinho. Now without Ittihad, the former Liverpool player. Comes on to try and add some physicality in midfield. McGinn. Ferguson. McLean. Right to Tierney. Tierney on the left-hand side. Looks for a cross. Shotman tries to get on the end of it. There was a deflection that took this thing out of it. That's very calmly dealt with by Ryan. Fabinho in the centre circle. Marquinhos. Run away from Guimaraes as it crosses the touchline on the near side. That's a signal for the second half hydration break. This will be a big chat from Steve Clarke when they make their way over. -22 minutes to salvage their position. -3 goal difference might still just keep Scotland in the tournament. but it's a tough risk-reward question. Do you go for a goal to try and reduce that deficit as the bagpipes launch into life? Might just be the inspiration they need here, Scotland. But Brazil, as it stands, will be winning the group. All the talk about their sluggish start. But they've answered their critics against Morocco. In fact, pretty straightforward win over Haiti, where they never seem to come out of second gear. The same could probably be said about tonight, you know. And you wonder what happens when Brazil come up against a side with a bit more pedigree in their ranks. There have been chances for Scotland. Scott McTominay with a couple of headers. There are some in the ground that thought it had beaten Allison. Travelling contingent of Scotland supporters, the Tartan army, doing their best to suck the ball into the back of the net. The Brazilians in this stadium outnumber them by a factor of almost 10-1. Start with a throw inside the Scotland half of the pitch. .20 minutes to play. Kieran Tierney in towards John McGinn. Danilo was climbing, according to the referee. McGinn. Tierney. McKenna. McLean. McGinn looking for Shankland. Cut out by Gabriel. In by Tierney again with the throw. Kenny McLean. Down the line for Kieran Tierney to chase. He's going to get there ahead of Danilo. Not half decent ball. Shankland! He's scooped over by McTominay. Well, it's going to be an almighty roll from around this stadium. Neymar is being given his final instructions. He will be introduced very shortly. Gabriel. Allison. Fabinho. Allison. As things stand, Scotland are 6th in the third place rankings. The teams below them as well with a game to play. Martinelli can't find Vinícius Júnior. Now McTominay to try and carry it away for Scotland. McGinn. buys himself a bit of time. Now with Kenny McLean. McGinn. McLean. Tierney. Ferguson. McLean. Held up by McGinn. Now Kieran Tierney. Drives it Danilo and gets the touch off Ryan to win the corner. Set pieces have provided encouragement for Scotland. It's not the goal they've been looking for. Ferguson's corner, pushed away by Allison. Far enough away as well. Recycled by Patterson. Tierney from deep towards the back post. Header is by Santos. Back in across from McGinn. McLean's header tucked behind by Fabinho. Ferguson on set-piece duties again from this near side. Packing them into the 6-yard box of Scotland. Ferguson. Headed towards goal. It was always moving away from goal. Well met by Lawrence Shankland. And now the chance for Neymar to get on. And he's going to replace Mateus Cunha. Back in the squad for the first time since October 2023, the 34-year-old jogs on for his 4th appearance at these magnificent tournaments. It's cap 129 for Neymar. On the occasion of his 3rd cap, he scored 2 against Scotland at the Emirates in London. Morocco lead for the first time. They've tried chasing that game. Finished 3-2 in Atlanta. It's Guimaraes. Neymar. Force it through to Vinícius Júnior. McGinn. Wiped out. Danilo. Careful, Danilo, he is on a yellow card. Gunn. Straight to Danilo. Marquinhos. Fabinho. Marquinhos. Danilo. Fabinho. Marquinhos. Gabriel. Forward for Douglas Santos. Lays it off to Neymar. Clever reverse pass to Vinícius Júnior. Left edge of the penalty area. Vinícius Júnior for his hat-trick. Saved at the near post by Angus Gunn. It's going to be Neymar to take it. Swinger. So Ryan. caught McGinn. He's trying to take it down. By Tierney to Gunn, stands it up down the left-hand side, but he's given it straight to Guimaraes. Not Fabinho. Danilo. Fabinho. Gabriel. Fabinho. Gabriel. Ryan. Neymar. Guimaraes. Free kick goes Scotland's way on the edge of the penalty area. McTominay. Patterson. Ferguson. Fabinho. Ryan. Runners around him. Finds Danilo low across the face of goal. And Vinícius Júnior was there. And it's ever so slightly wide. Changes for Scotland. Anthony Ralston and Ryan Christie for the two-men waiting to come on. Nathan Patterson's going to come off. Says Ben Gannon-Doe. He was billed as the potential fear maker. Gannon-Doe. Changes two for Brazil. Hendrick's going to be coming on. Off goes Douglas Santos and Ryan. Alexandro on. And Hendrick too, as we just mentioned. Tierney wins the header. Ferguson. Here's McLean. And his ankle's taken away from him by Fabinho. Yellow card brandished towards the former Liverpool man. Good work from Kenny McLean. Just weaved his way through the Brazil midfield. I knew what he was doing there, Fabinho. That's a quick booking. Well, statistics tell us that the goal for Scotland at this point, if they can keep the margin down to 2, will give them around a 30% chance boost. Ferguson's free kick to McGinn. Christie, a little pirouette on the turn. Didn't really settle for him. Back with Tierney. Switch of play to the far side, taken down by John McGinn. Ball from Kieran Tierney. McGinn, right-footed ball towards the near post. McTominay holds it up. Surrounded by Brazil shirts. Pokes it free. Here's McGinn, shifted onto his left. Now down the outside. McGinn twisting, turning. Christie. High towards the back post. There is Shankland. Nods it down. Kieran Tierney was waiting. He felt he was caught there. Goes to ground in the penalty area. It's Hendrick that carries it free. Referee was well placed though. Fabinho. And Martinelli. Fabinho. Marquinhos. Neymar, Fabinho, Neymar, Marquinhos, Danilo, Marquinhos, Gabriel, down the left for Vinícius Júnior, tracked by Christie. Martinelli, Danilo, Fabinho, Gabriel, Vinícius Júnior running at Ralston. And Christie's in the way. It will be a Brazil corner. Neymar over the corner. Driven towards the near post and flashed over his own crossbar by Lawrence Shankland. Neymar. And the volley was Gabriel. There were Scottish bodies in the way. Scott McKenna in the way. Throwing to Brazil. Danilo. Into Guimarães. Marquinhos. Gabriel. Alexandro. There's Neymar. Teasing. Vinícius Júnior. Held off by Martinelli. Marquinhos. Gabriel. Vinícius Júnior. There's Neymar out on the left-hand side. Gabriel. Marquinhos. Work down the right this time. Endrick. The foul is on Endrick. Steve Clarke preparing to make his final change here. Just waiting for the moment to bring on the 19-year-old Finlay Curtis. Here's Endrick. Fabinho. Right to the left-hand side for Vinícius Júnior. Bounces off Ralston. Trying to set it through for Neymar. Christie. McGinn. A collision off the ball between Guimarães and McLean. Here's Ryan Christie. Ferguson. Christie. Oh, it's Ferguson. Ferguson steps forward. Finds McGinn left-hand side now. Options in the box to aim for. This one towards the back post. Ralston was there. Snatched at the chance. Scuffed into the ground. Che Adams is also ready to come on. Neymar's tracked down by Ryan Christie. It was Ralston caught out of position though. To the 90th minute in Miami. Here's Neymar. Flat delivery. Away by Shankland. Back to Neymar, left-hand side. Little drop of the shoulder. Neymar. Gobbled up by Gunn. Morocco have scored a fourth. They'll finish in second place in Group C. Strasbourg's Yassine has scored the fourth for Morocco to make it 4-2 for the North Africans, who trailed twice this evening. Fabinho. Shankland. Fouled by Martinelli. Steve Clarke wants to get his reinforcements on. Well, that was Lawrence Shankland's last act. He'll walk over the touchline. As will John McGinn. On comes Findlay Curtis and Shea Adams. Lewis Ferguson standing over the ball, 35 yards goal from goal, very central position. We're into 6 minutes of added time. Ferguson towards the back post, aimed at Tierney. Danilo. Launched into the penalty area by Tierney. That drops kindly for Neymar, who's found Vinícius Júnior. It's really good positioning by Ralston, just to make sure that didn't find any of the yellow shirts streaking forward. Fabinho to Danilo. Marquinhos. It's down the right-hand side. Endrick might well keep this in play. Unable to do so in the end. Ferguson. Here comes Findlay Curtis. Overran it. Danilo was in the way. Now here's Guimaraes, finds Neymar. So Fabinho. Carried forward by Alexandro. Guimaraes. Endrick. Danilo. Martinelli. Fabinho on the half turn. Will find Guimaraes looking for Neymar. All the way through to Gunn. By Gunn, chested down by Marquinhos. There's Gabriel. Back to Marquinhos. Hendrick. Martinelli has had his pocket picked by Ferguson, was being held back by Gabriel Martinelli. That will be a free kick for Scotland. They have one chance here. 90 seconds or so remaining in the game. Set pieces of their most likely route to something approaching salvation. Ferguson. It's off a Brazilian head, out of play for a corner. Ferguson. Alisson punches. Might up to Ralston. Keeps things going into the byline. McTominay was there! And Alisson holds on to it. That was the chance. And Brazil surging forward on the counter-attack. It's Vinícius Júnior hunting a hat-trick. Neymar. Vinícius Júnior. That was blocked by Finlay Curtis. Vinícius Júnior. Guimarães. Vinícius Júnior. Crowded out. Ferguson won it back. Scotland with the free kick. We've played the 6 minutes of allotted added time. May go a little bit further because of the subs. No more time. Cesar Ramos blows the whistle for full time. Brazil will go cruising through to the knockout stages as group winners. 2 wins and a draw. Scotland, though, will have an agonising wait. They will return back to their training camp in Charlotte, North Carolina, up the eastern seaboard, and wait for a few days to find out whether they've done enough to make it through to the round of 32 as one of the best performing third place finishers. They've been architects of their own downfall tonight, though. The mistake from Scott McKenna. Angus Gunn as well, getting sucked under the flight of the ball. It could have been so different. Also could have been different had Vinícius Júnior taken a few of the chances that were handed to him. It's been a tough evening for Scotland. A confidence-boosting one for Brazil, but it's another game that they haven't really had to step out of second gear in. Scotland will think and hope and cross their fingers and hope the football gods smile on them as the groups progress. Group D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, all still to play their final group games. Currently, as it stands, Scotland are a point ahead of Cape Verde, who have played 2. Cape Verde, Belgium, Czech Republic, Democratic Republic of Congo, Ecuador and Senegal, still trailing Scotland in that third place rankings. A point for Cape Verde, a point for Belgium, and Scotland will be pushed out of the third place positions. Wins for Czech Republic, DR Congo or Ecuador. We'll see something similar happen. Embraces between Andy Robertson and Alisson on other sides tonight, but on the same side for such a long time with Liverpool. It's going to be a tense few days for Scotland, but Brazil our group winners in Group C. Whether they have enough to go all the way this time remains to be seen.